Hey guys, it's Jason back here again. This is going to be my top 10 films of all time. Now, to elaborate on that, when I say of all time, I mean to me, okay? It's my opinion. I know some of these on here are definitely not going to appear on many people's lists, but they're films that mean a lot to me. Some of them I've watched ever since I was a child. Just great memories and just many reasons why I love them, and I will get into them as soon as I start the list. But I do have two honourable mentions. The first one is a classic. In my opinion, it's an absolute classic, but it's not on my list because I only I watched it for the first time 2 years ago. So to me, it wouldn't really qualify putting it on my top 10 list, but I absolutely love it. It's Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. What can be said that hasn't been said about this? It's just phenomenal storytelling, absolutely fantastic cast. I mean, you cannot have asked for a better cast. In my opinion, the best ensemble cast there's ever been in a film. Just great, absolute classic. So anyway, Pulp Fiction not on the list, but definitely honorable mention. Now, the second honorable mention that I have, it would be a lot of people's number one, I would imagine. Um, it isn't on my list. It isn't on my list, but again, I love it. It is Tom Hanks's film. Well, Robert Zemeckis' film, but it stars Tom Hanks. Forrest Gump. Excuse that. I'm sorry. Um, Again, what can be said about this film that hasn't already been said? It won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1994. Should it have won? That's debatable. I mean, um, I just realised Forrest Gump came out the same year as Pulp Fiction. That didn't factor into my mind when I was picking the honourable mentions. That is weird. So anyway, those are my two honourable mentions. I love both of them, but it is time for the list. Number 10 is a sequel. Yes, I'm starting off the list with the sequel. In my opinion, one of the cheesiest films ever made. And it hurts me to say that because I do love it, but I love it because it's cheesy. Harry, you will know this one as well. Um, it is 1985's Rocky Four. In my opinion, probably the second best Rocky film. The first one I never really cared for. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I realize it is a modern classic. I do recognize that it is a brilliant piece of filmmaking, but it never really did anything for me. Rocky Two, I think, should have been Rocky One in terms of the story. I think Rocky Three is absolutely brilliant. Um, but again, I wouldn't say that's the best Rocky film. Rocky Five, we don't talk about that. Rocky Balboa, the sixth one, I would say is the best Rocky film. And maybe I will get into that in a later video. But anyway, we're talking about Rocky Four. um, what could be said about Rocky Four? Russians, death in the ring, montages, baby oil, and accents. Yes, you have Rocky training in the snow and the harsh conditions with no equipment, and then you have big Dolph Lundgren training with steroids and equipment in his high-tech gym. My god, this film is cheesy, but I absolutely love it. They can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom! Sorry. Number 9 is, of course, if you couldn't tell by that amazing impression there, Braveheart. One of the most epic films I think ever made, and I think slightly underrated. Um, the everything about this, the cinematography, uh, the brilliant cast again. I mean, Mel Gibson. You know, I know Mel Gibson. He gets into a lot of crap these days, but he was absolutely brilliant as William Wallace in this. And for an Australian who basically has an American accent, I thought he did a pretty good Scottish accent in this film. Once again, epic. Just the cast, cinematography, uh, the locations are absolutely beautiful in this. I mean, I can't remember the name of the castle, but where they shot the battle of the battle of oh, what was the battle where he gives the speech? Anyway, oh yes, battle of Stirling Bridge. The castle where they shot that was absolutely beautiful. The score of this, James Horner, one of the best composers, I think. Um, Great film. That's number 9. Dylan, you son of a bitch. I I don't have any biceps, and I don't have a friend either. Anyway, if you hadn't guessed by that, the impressions will stop. I'm sorry. Um, we have an action classic. It is Arnold Schwarzenegger, starring in Predator. Wow. Directed by John McTiernan, a man who directed another film on this list, which I won't give away, but you could probably guess what it is. Yeah, just absolutely amazing action film. It screams 1980s as well. It just absolutely does. In my opinion, Arnold's best performance in a film, and that's not saying a lot, because Arnold, everyone knows we don't watch his films for the acting, do we? um, but yeah, it was just very believable as this leader of this group of very muscular and heterosexual men. It was, yeah, it's amazing. Um, yeah, just I don't think this gets enough credit as well. I mean, this really, it just stands out. I mean, the 1980s were the home of over the top action films with the likes of Arnie, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all those guys. And I think this really stands out because it sort of broke that boundary between action and sci-fi. Um, yeah, I would watch this about 4 or 5 times a year, which I'm probably under exaggerating that. I'd probably watch it a lot more, but there we go, Predator. Now, remember when I said this list would have some films that I've watched since childhood? This next one is. It has a special place in my heart, and it always will. It is 1978, the classic Superman. Now, this is the Superman collection, which hopefully I'm going to buy on Blu-ray. In this one, you only have Superman, Superman 2, Superman 3, and Superman 4, which we don't talk about. Yeah, but the one on Blu-ray has Superman Returns, which I quite liked. I think it gets a lot of shit, to be honest with you. I quite like Superman Returns, although no one can replace Christopher Reeve. And I just want to say I do like the job that Henry Cavill did in Man of Steel, and that it looks like he's going to do in Batman vs Superman. But Christopher Reeve is he is Superman to me. He always will be Superman. Um, with Superman Returns, I think Brandon Routh was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't think people were ready for another Superman film, even though Superman Returns came out about 19 years after Superman 4. But yeah, anyway, Superman. Quick story. My dad showed me this film. I think he first showed it to me when I was about 5. I'm 18. So, and I've watched this film at least once, if not more. I've watched this film, so now, 13 years. I've been watching this film, and it never gets old. I'll never get bored of it. In my opinion, the best superhero film, I think. And I know before y'all jump on the hater wagon, I know it has flaws. I know some parts of it look dated. Come on, it was 1978 for God's sake. But yeah, this film will always mean something to me. I will be showing my kids it. Um, yeah, just what else can I say? Only fantastic cast. I mean, Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando as Jor-El was I thought was absolutely brilliant, and I don't think he had a big enough part in the film. I think his part should have been bigger. Although the part that he had, I think is one of the best performances. I think. Um, of course, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe gave a good performance in Man of Steel, I thought as well. But who else? You have Margot Kidder, who's kind of mental now, but no, I thought she was absolutely brilliant as Lois Lane, and of course you have John Williams's John Williams, however you said, John Williams's epic score, which even if you haven't seen this film, if you hear that score, you know it's Superman. Yeah. Anyway, this is absolutely brilliant. I love this with all my heart. I feel the need for speed. I have got to stop with these impressions. It's just, when I talk about films, I get in the mood to do impressions and everything, and just goes absolutely apeshit. Anyway, if you hadn't guessed, the next film is 1986 Top Gun. Like Predator, and even more than Predator, this screams 1980s. The soundtrack, the clothes, just the overall feel of it, I think it's absolutely. I just think it's one of the most fun to watch films of all time. It's not one of the best films. It's not one of the best acted. There is some cheesy moments in it, and there is kind of sort of undertones to it with Maverick and Iceman. But yeah, let's not dwell on that. What else can I say about this? It's just I guess the adrenaline pumping. I always watch it if I have work the next day or whatever, and I need to get myself pumped up. I always just watch it and hope it kicks me into the danger zone. Yeah, Top Gun, phenomenal. The best comic book film of all time. Now, Superman. Superman is the best superhero film of all time. The best comic book film of all time is 2008's The Dark Knight. Now, I was going to cheat. I was going to put the whole trilogy on in this spot. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight Rises. But I felt this is the one I have watched most out of all three of them. And this is the one I think is the most epic. This film, originally when it came out, I wasn't excited for it because at that point I hadn't actually seen Batman Begins. I know, yeah, I hadn't seen Batman Begins, and don't get me wrong, I'd seen the trailers and I'd seen Heath Ledger and the makeup and everything, and I thought, oh, that looks quite good. I might go and see that. I went to see it in IMAX in the cinema, and it just blew my mind. I just couldn't believe how epic and cool it was. I mean, it was the first time I'd ever felt like a a comic book movie was epic. Um, yeah, it's just I love this. I can watch this anytime, anytime at all, any time of the year. Um, what could be said? Christian Bale, one of the best actors of all time. I love him in American Psycho, which was sorry, I should have mentioned it in the honorable mentions. Looking back, I should have mentioned it. American Psycho, I love that as well. But Christian Bale, absolutely fantastic in this. Um, he really gets the balance right between being Christian, no, between being Bruce Wayne, this philanthropist and billionaire, who's presented to the public in that way, and then the Bruce Wayne who's still grieving for his parents, who's just this damaged, broken man, and also Batman, who's just a fucking badass. And then you have Heath Ledger, who, in my opinion, this is one of the best performances ever given by an actor, the Joker. And I loved Jack Nicholson in the 1989 Batman film. I absolutely loved him as the Joker, but Heath Ledger blows him out of the fucking water in this here. I mean, it's just it's a take on the Joker you'll probably never see again, and I gotta say I don't like that photo of Jared Leto in the Suicide Squad. I don't. That doesn't do it for me. Like with the Joker. To me, apart from Mark Hamill in the animated series, Heath Ledger is always going to be the Joker to me. No matter what, just oh my god, I love this film so much. Dun, 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 dun. Jaws. I first saw Jaws at the tender age of 8 years old, and as you can imagine, it kind of fucked me up. I just didn't even. I wouldn't go. This is stupid, but I wouldn't go in the bath. I wouldn't go in the bath. I would always go in the shower. Um, this this is truly a classic. Um, I don't know what else you could say about this that hasn't already been said. To me, Steven Spielberg's greatest film, I think. You had a phenomenal cast: Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss. Um, you know, Richard Dreyfuss was cast being relatively unknown, and that's just propelled him to superstardom. You had him playing Hooper. He's a sort of wisecracking um, young guy who just lives life to the fullest. And you have Roy Scheider as Chief Brody. Just he's just the definition of a leading man. I think he was, you know, he's a man who is forced to do things by his superiors that he doesn't agree with in the beginning of the film, and he just takes it upon himself to get rid of this problem. And then you have Robert Shaw as Quint. Yet again, I think another one of the greatest performances by an actor in a film, especially the Indianapolis speech on the boat. Sends shivers down my spine every single time I see that, and I've seen this film I'm sure, about 100 times. Wow, I just think it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Number three, in my opinion, best action film ever made. I don't think you can make an argument that Die Hard is most definitely the greatest action film ever made. Um, Bruce Willis as John McClane. One of the most likable and badass movie characters has ever been. Just the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time. That was terrible. Um, you know, he goes to see his wife over Christmas, and then, wouldn't you know it, a group of terrorists come in downstairs and start fucking shit up, and he ends up having to run around the building barefoot, and nothing but his vest and his trousers. Um, yeah, and one of one of the best villains as well, and Hans Gruber, played by the fantastic Alan Rickman, or should I call you Mr. McClane, Mr. Officer John McClane of the New York Police Department. That got a bit weird. Yeah, like the this is the other film I mentioned. John McTiernan. That man knows how to direct action. Why he couldn't have came back for part 4 or part 5, I'll never know. Part 5, there's about 2 hours in the life I'll never get back. Yeah, there's not much I can say about this that hasn't already been said. Most of these on this list I can't really say much because, well, it's already been said, hasn't it? But I love this. I know it's, I consider this a Christmas film. I think it's better than Home Alone, better than Jingle All the Way, better than A Christmas Story, American on 34th Street, all them ones. I consider it a Christmas film. My mum doesn't. She doesn't consider it a Christmas film. My dad does, though. Yeah, I can watch it at any time of the year, and you should watch it at any time of the year, I think. Die Hard. This was never about the money for us, man. It was about us against the system. That system that kills the human spirit. To those poor souls inching down the freeway in their metal coffins, we stand for something. We show them that the human spirit is still alive. Number 2 is one of my favourite action films. I think, behind Die Hard, I think it's the best action film. It is Point Break. It's cheesy as hell. It's generic as hell, if you think about it. But, wait, no, it's not. I don't think it's generic. I think it has an absolutely amazing plot. It has a plot that could literally only exist in the early 1990s. You have Johnny Utah, Keanu Reeves. He's a young rookie FBI agent. He gets paired up with Gary Busey, who I just love. I think Gary Busey's amazing. So does everyone. He gets paired up with Gary Busey's character, and basically, Gary Busey has this theory that a group of bank robbers calling themselves the ex-presidents because were the mass of former US presidents. This gang of bank robbers might also be surfers. So Keanu Reeves is sent to infiltrate them. I don't think this film gets enough credit. I mean, the cinematography, you see, especially when they're skydiving and jumping out of planes and all, I think it's some of the most beautiful shots I think have ever been committed to film. You have the late great Patrick Swayze. You gotta love the Swayze. I do. I miss him. Unfortunately, they're remaking this now, I think, with Gerard Butler and Chris Pine, I think. But I heard if he'd lived, he was going to be asked to come back as... No, sorry, no, not come back, do a cameo, because, spoiler alert, no, second of all, I won't spoil anything. Everyone deserves to watch this film without any spoilers. Again, Bodhi, Swayze is brilliant as Bodhi because he is the antagonist, but he's not a villain. I don't consider him a villain. I think he's just, it's a cliche, but he's misunderstood, I think. I don't know how many times I've watched this. I really don't. I've watched it so many times. I can literally, I could probably quote the whole script. Same with Die Hard. I could quote it word for word. Um, Utah, give me two. That's enough of that. My name is Red. When Andy Dufresne came to Shawshank Prison in 1947, I wish I knew that I was going to be watching the best film that has ever been made, and I, Morgan Freeman, would end up his best friend. My number one film of all time, The Shawshank Redemption. This film changed my life. I'm going to be honest. Its message, hope, us. That's all it comes down to. Fear can keep you prisoner. Hope can set you free. I think it's a brilliant quote. Of course, you've got the brilliant "get busy living" or "get busy dying." It's just it literally changed my life. I mean, if I ever have a shitty day, and believe me, I have a lot of shitty days. I go and I watch this, and it just cheers me up. I mean, you cannot watch this film all the way through and not come out of it feeling a better person or feeling better about yourself or being in a better mood, whatever. Um, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, Frank Darabont, and who's the cinematographer? Roger Deakins. The way this film is shot, the way the shots are transitioned, uh, the way the story is told, where you see uh, flashbacks, and things that you thought had happened, but you see how they really play it out. And I won't dare spoil the ending for anyone. The ending is one of the best twist endings. Would you call it a twist? I would call it a twist. It's one of the best endings in cinema history, I would say. You've got Tim Robbins as Andy Dufresne, this guy who he was literally in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's sent to prison for 2 life sentences for killing his wife and her lover. And obviously, everyone knows what goes on in prison and why I will never be going. Um, Everything happens there, and his life really, it just crumbles around him, and then he meets Morgan Freeman's character, Red, who's one of the best supporting characters there's ever been, and Morgan Freeman narrates this film, and I'm going to be honest here, this film wouldn't be half as good if Morgan Freeman wasn't the narrator. Just a phenomenal film, absolutely phenomenal. Um, I'm not exaggerating. I've probably watched this film over 100 times, and it never gets old, and I'll never get tired of it. Just give us a watch if you're ever feeling bad or feeling down or anything. I guarantee you have Jason's guarantee. That's a good guarantee, by the way. You have my guarantee that you will come out feeling better. Well, guys, that was my top 10 films. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm really excited about starting YouTube again. It'll be fun to see where it takes me. Um, okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, um, comment anything and everything down below. Anything you want to see, anything you want to ask me, anything like that. And please subscribe. It would really help me a lot. Okay, thanks very much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.